Well, hello and welcome to this video. As you can tell, I'm not out on a walk today, but I'd still like to sit and have a little chat, particularly under the circumstances we have going on in the world at the moment. And I've debated a little bit because I kind of didn't want to get caught up. I've actually stepped away hugely from social media at the moment, and I'll explain why in this video. But for me, I want to share with you some of official resources of things you really, where you should be looking for your information from the current crisis of the coronavirus that is now basically affecting the whole world. If you're watching this for the first time, my name is Emer. I'm a Galway girl, and I go by Emer Inspires. And who the hell am I, you might say, to be telling anybody about anything, especially to do with the virus side of it? I suppose I do have a little bit of experience in the fact that my thesis was in microbiology when I did my master's in biomedical science. So I'm very familiar with how they are able to identify the cases that are actually coronavirus. It's a PCR test where they identified through a genetic marker that this case is actually the current version of the coronavirus. So everything I'm going to share with you is coming from the resources that I would highly recommend. YouTube, I actually saw fair dues. YouTube are also recommending these websites as well. Prior to this video, I was doing it more on a national level, but I'm going to explain it all in this video. The first one, it comes from the World Health Organization, and I really recommend, I'm going to link this video, and I'll also put all my links down in the description as well. But what is the coronavirus? Because I've heard some crazy stuff out there about this. The coronavirus is a large group of different, a large type of virus that would be sort of similarly related. And they tend to, in the past, it has jumped from an animal towards the human species. So it's hopped between the two. Some of you may be familiar with or be aware of the SARS outbreak in 2003. That was a coronavirus, and the Middle East respiratory syndrome. That was another one that started in 2012. That one originated in Saudi Arabia. SARS originated in China in 2003. And these were, they were eventually identified. This particular version, that's why they're calling it the novel coronavirus, is they do not yet know where it originated or where it came from. The video is a brilliant video to watch because it's coming from a real authority, as in the World Health Organization, and it explains how it started as a cluster of pneumonia in China, and when they tested it, they realized they actually didn't know this wasn't a form of virus they had seen before. It was like a mutation of the previous forms of the coronavirus. So as I said, that's just putting it out there. What is it that we're talking about, so that we all know it's not man-made, it's not coming from aliens, it's not, it is a type of virus that has been around for quite, a long time. And that is something, when I studied it, that really amazed me with both bacteria and viruses. Viruses are a lot more resilient than bacteria, but how they adapt and how they can mutate in order to survive. If it wasn't so serious, there's actually quite a fascinating element to it. But that's not what this video is about. So here are my tips. The first tip is get the hell off social media. Now, I know this is YouTube. I'm still watching YouTube, and I'm still on Instagram. Frankly, I've got off Facebook. It was getting so toxic in there. Like, it was just incredible, some of the comments I saw coming from people, and the way they were deciding they needed to police people almost. It really wasn't acceptable, and I just went, I'm out of here. I said, if Facebook was a theme tune last weekend, it would have been Jaws. Same with Twitter. I'm not going to get involved with any of that as well, because the reason I'm telling you this, it is so important right now not to be, yes, find out the facts, know what is going on. But if you're constantly following something that is creating more and more fear, more and more anxiety, more and more worry, more and more feeling of powerlessness, even if you're, now you all know I'm into vibration, I'm into law of attraction, and I can see how this is, it's something that I can really see is being fueled so heavily, and social media is and has made this an awful lot worse than it is. But if you're not into that, fear, worry, powerlessness, they're all the ingredients for stress, and they cause stress in the body. And we all know, and any medic will tell you, stress will, it reduces the immune system, and illnesses do come from it. So that's why I'm saying to you, why, for the sake of whatever, if you're bored, do something else. But I would highly recommend get off social media, or absolutely, like as I've done, limited to only watch what you want to watch. And that would be another point I have, is only watch things that will uplift you. But the one thing that I would say online and to keep an eye on are the official resources. I was even, I shared this with a friend today, and she knows who she is because I know she's going to watch this. But she is traveling to, having to travel later this month, and she's heard nothing, and she was getting really, really worried. I was traveling to Italy for Easter, so you can imagine what I felt like. And I'm getting daily updates from my friends as well. So I was constantly monitoring here in Ireland, the Department of Foreign Affairs. They have a helpline, they have a way you can ring them, and you can actually talk to somebody who will, if you do need to travel, that it will, they will give you advice on it. I'm sure it's the same in every country. They all have their own. Unfortunately, I'm not going to guess what they are for other countries. I just know here in Ireland, Department of Foreign Affairs, and I'll put that in the description, along with our health service, which is our HSE. Between those, I was like, right, what do I need to know? What are the symptoms? What can I do? And then I just let it go. I just really just let it go. I've got on with my life, and I think that was part of do I really want to go back and research all this to make this video? But when I thought about it, I hope it helps. At least if it helps one person, it's been worth going through this for me today, and that I can share it with you. Now, fair dues to YouTube, and I've seen them actually put up a notice now that they are going to start really clamping down on people who are giving false advice. They have recommended, and I've found this as well, on the likes of the Harvard Medical School and all that, is the World Health Organization. Brilliant resource. It's a world authority. So no matter where you are in the world, definitely that one is worth looking at. And the Center for Diseases, the CDC, that's another website as well. Again, I'm going to link them all for you in the description. But that's where, I've checked out, so that any of the information I'm giving to you about this is coming from the source. And I always believe, again, doesn't matter whether you're into energy stuff or not, always go directly to the source and get it from, don't be getting the Chinese whispers. It sounds a bit funny saying that, considering where this has all come from, but it is this idea of somebody telling somebody, and things grow legs. I don't listen to anybody else. I'm like, sorry, can we talk about something else right now? Let's just as I said, talk about something else, and I'll get my information from somebody who is actually an expert in it. So that's my tip number 2. Tip number 3, which I kind of touched on there as well. We have a lot of extra time, so what you're watching, what you're listening to, what you're reading is going to be very, very important. Because again, we don't want to be doing anything that really kind of exacerbates that stress mode. So, and you want things that are uplifting, you want things that are empowering, that are that real feel good factor, that real feel good story. You shouldn't be, reading and listening to things that are about being a victim and, atrocities and all that. That's not going to help the situation right now. You can do it again in the future if you want, but right now you want to give your body, your mind, everything, keep it as strong as possible. So until this passes. And that is the nature of everything in this world. everything shall pass. You know, impermanence is permanent. The only certainty is uncertainty. And people seem to be really struggling with that. They're almost demanding that they must know right now, where, you know, like even coming up to my trip in Italy, I had to just sit back and go, when I get there, we'll find out. We'll know about it, you know. There was no point on the day one that it got announced, oh, you can't go to Italy. And I said, we don't know what's going to happen here. Let's just wait and see. You know, and as I said, and I'm in touch with my friends that mean the world to me. It is and has become a very surreal, you know, thing that they're living through right now with the whole lockdown and curfews. And that's why this tip number 4 is so important. For all of us, you know, is that we're going to be kind of coming away from the likes of exercise classes or getting out and about and doing exercise. Exercise keeps us healthy and strong. It pumps the blood around. It clears out your lungs. So even if it means dancing around the kitchen, I don't care what it is, but get your heart rate up, get yourself exercising, and, you know, and keep yourself fit and strong. So that's number 4. Number 5. Again, a very, very basic one is your diet. Keeping, you know, getting fresh vegetables and fruit is really, you know, is the best thing to keep your immune system good. You know, supplements, yeah, they're good, but if you can get them from the foods that we eat, our bodies absorb them an awful lot better. Vitamin C is a well-known one, and thank you to the NHS, actually. I used their website for this one. Is oranges, red and green peppers, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and potatoes. Like, I wasn't just going to go off, like, while I knew this stuff, I want to be able to reference it for you. It's the scientist in me. You know, if you give information, you must be able to reference it. So, as I said, this was a link on the NHS website, which is the British Health Organisation. Vitamin D, again, this is the time of year we normally get it from sunlight. It's greatly reduced at the moment. And again, now people are going to be staying in an awful lot more, and we do need vitamin D. And both vitamin D and vitamin C are 2 vitamins that don't really stay in the body, that our body can't store them like they can some other vitamins. So oily fish, red meat, egg yolks, they're sources of vitamin D, and they're, you know, as I said, it is one, because of the time of year. We've kind of come out of winter. We haven't been getting much daylight. And, you know, here in Ireland, they actually give it to newborn babies now because of the lack of daylight, you know, to try and prevent the likes of arthritis at a later age. They've actually started doing it. So there's a lot of research around the vitamin D. But again, it's to help keep you fit and healthy and strong. Other good ones that are very much around the immune system are vitamin A and vitamin E. I'm a huge fan of Echinacea. Now, you're not going to see that on a medical website, but it's a herb that I have used myself for years, and I absolutely swear by it. It's up to you whether you want to do it or not, but Echinacea is a herbal remedy that is great for boosting the immune system. Number 6. It is a little bit weird how much they're on about cleaning and hygiene. You're kind of like, do people not do this all the time? But I think it is actually, will help our hygiene going forward, just that people are so aware that they have to be a little bit more hygienic and wash their hands. Our hands are the biggest reason for, contamination and passing on things. So now, while this virus gets passed through droplets in the air, but if they land in their hands and you happen to put them in your mouth or rub your eyes, that's how it can get into the body. You can, here in Ireland, we certainly seem to have a huge problem with hand sanitizer disappearing. And basically, hand sanitizer is just an alcohol-based rub. It is not a substitute for washing your hands, but it's certainly, if you're out and about, it's handy to have a bottle. Alcohol-based, you can use, other items that contain alcohol. If you can't get hand sanitizer, mouthwash. Mouthwash actually can contain quite a lot of alcohol. Cheap vodka, and mix it with aloe vera. A friend of mine, Karen Roberts, that does a lot of herbal stuff, she recommended this recently. And you can put in a few drops of, I use a lot of eucalyptus oil, tea tree oil and everything. They are kind of natural cleaners of the air and, antibacterial and that. You don't have to go out and get it. This is, as I said, you don't necessarily have to buy them. Albus oil. This is very popular here in Ireland. A lot of people may have this. We use it, as a decongestant to help the airways. That you can use something like that as well. So that's more or less it. I probably could tell you loads of other stuff, but this, I'm sure you've got a few tips out of this. I really hope so. Oh yes, I have one more because I've just seen it in front of me. This is one, and I saw somebody say about it on YouTube. Glasses is a great way to protect your eyes. Yes, but what are we doing with our glasses? We're using them with our hands and everything and then putting them on. I'm not, because I've just smeared all of the glass there, but you should, when you're putting something like that up around your eyes, make sure it's clean. Make sure your hands are clean before you clean your glasses. And, some of the worst, and I know this from working in the lab, your phone, your wallet and all that, they're the most contaminated items that we can have. And we're all sitting on our mobile phones at the moment. So, as I said, it's just awareness. And that's what I talk about. And that's why I suppose maybe I was right to do this video after all. It is about awareness. It's about being compassionate to other people. It's about, if you know somebody in your phone that may be vulnerable, just sending them a text and say, look, if you need me to run some errands, just let me know. I'll be here at the end of a phone. Do not arrive in on top of somebody who may be older or maybe, have illnesses and that, and I do have a family member going through chemotherapy. Don't suddenly decide, I'm going to visit them because I'm bored. Let's go and visit them or something like that. Just be a little bit more conscious and aware, and, ring them up, have a conversation. If they feel happy to meet you, that's different. But don't force yourself on other people just because you don't think about it and think, sure, it's grand. I'm anti-healthy and I'm fine. So that's it. Bit of kindness, bit of love, and above all, be kind. And let's get to the end of all this. Talk to you in the next video. Bye bye.